So I have right here a Craftsman Silver Poulan 5.5 158cc engine, lawnmower, but basically it's a Briggs and Stratton motor. And right here, if you look all the way to the bottom, you'll see right here has a model number. And if you go online, you can see right here that you can then download the owner manual and the assembly drawing, and I'll have a link down in the comment area. And this lawnmower engine is a very common engine. You can find it in many other brands. So as you saw in the video up top right here, the lawnmower basically runs rough. It speeds up and then it dies out and it speeds up sometimes. It's not consistent, but basically this is a good indicator that the carburetor somewhere in here it's clogged. So I got a rebuild kit. It's 5083 for this model. And it comes along with a diaphragm, gasket, a spring, and a filter. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this up and clean up the carburetor. Now, the air filter was replaced last year, and the spark plugs were replaced last year too. So I'm pretty sure those are not the issue. And before I take off everything else, I'm just going to take a piece of cloth and close up right here, and then I'm just going to clean around this area with a brush real quick. So there are two screws, one on the side right here. This one right here is a 3/8. There's one right here, 1/2. And there's a boot right here that just pops right off. And then, of course, there's the linkage on the side. Now I sprayed this with engine degreaser, and it's actually pretty important to try to clean this off and then blow it out before you start taking things apart. And this is just personal preference that I like to do first. Okay, there are 4 screws, actually 5. There are 5 screws, and it's very important also to empty out the gas from the gas tank. You actually, a lot of times, sometimes there's water collected on the bottom of the gas tank if you accidentally left the lawnmower outdoors when it rains, or if you leave the old gas in over like the whole winter. So you actually want to drain out the old gas. And after you got all 5 screws loose, just pulls right out. And as you can see, the diaphragm, the spring, and the filter right there. So as you can see, I don't know if I can focus on this, but right here you can see some gunk and some dirt is collected on the bottom right there. If you look at the carburetor right here, you can see that there's some debris and some dirt all around it. So the whole goal is just to clean all the passages, the jets and everything like that. And I'm going to clean it with some engine start fluid. And after I clean it, then I'll use compressed air to spray through all the passages. So You can kind of see that there's a debris on here. Move the old filter. So as you can see right now, this is all cleaned up. I blew through all the little holes here, passages here, blew inside here, carburetor. Everything is all cleaned up, and now it's time to just assemble it back together. So there's no real science to this. All it is just putting back a couple of parts together. First, let's put back the filter. Slide the new one on here. Next, let's replace the spring. Just take out the old one and put in the new one. And then finally, we'll put in the diaphragm. Now, the way how it goes is that the gasket goes first. So here's the gasket that goes on first. And the next thing is the diaphragm. Goes on second, and that's pretty much it. Now then the next thing I'm going to do is assemble it back together, and when I do assemble it back together, I'm actually going to let this can sit overnight empty, because I want all the vapors and all the water to drain out. I'll probably let it sit for 24 hours. It is important to take your time to make sure that the gasket and the diaphragm all align correctly. And the best way is to just do a cross pattern, slowly tighten it up. When it feels snug, then that's pretty good. Alright, and inspect the gasket right here. So that gasket looks good. This O-ring right here, that gasket looks good too. And now let's put this back together. So putting the boot back on, one screw, two screws. It's important to not to over tighten it. Put back the linkage on. Put back the spring. And just like as I said before, I am going to let this gas tank sit empty for 24 to 36 hours because I want it to drain out like all the fumes and all the water if there's any inside of it, and then I'll fill it up with new gas and see how it runs. So it's been over about 30 hours. I let the gas tank completely dried out. I put in new gas. This is the first time cranking it. I've been letting it run for quite some time. Did some mowing in the backyard and it runs really strong, so pretty much cleaning up the carburetor fixed this issue.